Greetings from the land of Wano. I'm Duuz-Diz-Din coming at you with another One Piece chapter review. This time it's chapter 937. And this one, interestingly enough, is titled Gyukimaru of Bandit Bridge. Now, one thing I want to talk about first is the cover of Shonen Jump, which displays Luffy in the forefront, as always, but also Kinemon, Komurasaki, Orochi, as well as, wow, I am blanking on his name, but the young, child. Too many characters. But, Komurasaki's involvement, Momosuke, there we go. Komurasaki's involvement kind of makes it solidified that she must not be dead, because she would still not be presented as a prominent figure within this story arc were she not going to continue to be a prominent figure. And I feel like this chapter gives it away as well. The color spread is also very wonderful, as it is great just to see. It's always fun to just see the, crew of the Sunny just goofing off, palling around, because honestly they haven't done that for multiple chapters. It has been a good long while since the crew has been truly all together, even to this point, which is very much something worth noting. But we end up picking up between Curry and Udon, where we see that Big Mom is still traveling with Chopper and the rest, and she and Tama are having a bit of a good time. But Big Mom continues to be very taken with all things food, and she really wants to eat some Ushiruko, when they get to udon, which, is traditional type of Japanese dish. But, Chopper's freaking out because he's just like, what's she going to do once she finds out they don't have any Ushiruku at udon? He's very, taken with the fact that they might end up putting Luffy in more danger by trying to rescue him. Meanwhile, we find that Luffy is actually having a pretty easy time with all of the gifters. No, I'm sorry, not gifters. He hasn't moved up to the gifters yet. He's been fighting the pleasures, who are, who don't have the artificial devil fruit. But he's basically taking down the weaker opponents for the most part. So he's moving up. But we also see that Luffy is attempting the very first real display, example of hockey he ever saw from Silver's Rayleigh, who, if you remember, put out this kind of almost energy wave, when he took on that one elephant. So Luffy is basically trying to taking this moment to try to train himself to be able to send out that kind of shockwave on his own. So it's actually something for, Oda, always the ever thoughtful, had actually shown us that there are different levels of hockey to be had, to be shown. So, Luffy is basically just trying to up his hockey game for the most part. Meanwhile, we see that Queen has actually been eating Ushiroku. So, in fact, he says to him it's like oxygen. So he has an absolute ton with it. So at the very least, we might not see Luffy go toe-to-toe with Queen, but we might see Big Mom go toe-to-toe with Queen in order to get some Ushiroku. So, Oda always just loves just setting all this stuff up. But then we get into the main plot point of this chapter, and that is in Wano Country, in the Ringo province on Bandit's Bridge, where we see that the Benkei looking dude Gyukimaru, the bandit warrior monk, is, opposing Zoro's claim to Ryuma's sword. And naturally, he is completely in disbelief at Zoro's story that zombification, Ryuma's spirit being possessed and his body being possessed by someone else's shadow and blah blah blah. Like, Gyukimaru is having none of it. And he refuses to turn over the Mito Shusui, and he just talks about, Ryuma's backstory as a whole, how long ago in Wano country, they were very wealthy in gold, and thus various pirates and nobles wanted to rule over Wano and take all of this gold. But Ryuma came forward and stood as a kind of protector for all of Wano, and drove off various pirates and those seeking the riches of Wano. He became such a legendary samurai that it was even said that he slew a dragon at one point over the skies of the capital. And after his death, he was enshrined, and his Mito Shusui was worshipped as a sword god, and it is considered the treasure of the people of Wano. So he's just, Gyukimaru is revealing the various, why the Mito Shusui is just such a thing that just can't simply be wielded on a whim. But Zoro is completely like, whatever, thanks for the heads up, but none of that really matters to me. I just want Shusui back because I don't feel like, just only wielding two swords. It's not my style. And you kind of see it throughout this chapter that, Zoro makes a face like as if he were still wielding a third sword. So he feels almost naked without truly wielding a third sword for the most part. Gyukimaru also goes on to say that Shusui is a black blade, which grew to be that way after the various battles that Ryuma had, which it was a theory that I forget where I heard that from, that certain swords will actually turn black after years of use, after being embedded with a certain amount of haki. That was a theory, so that might be proving it true here, as, Zoro, catches on, and it's just like, oh, it grew to be that way. That's interesting. But Gyukimaru is having none of Zoro's crap. He's gonna drive him off or kill him. It's just like, you're just greedy. You don't even know what the meaning of this sword is and anything like that. However, Zoro gets distracted by the calls of a young woman in the distance, although he still manages to parry Gyukimaru's attacks. But, this has become a running gag with Zoro in Wano. It's just saving random women here and there. And we come to find that it is Tama being carried by an unknown woman, who, I'm going to say it right now, I'm pretty sure that's Komurasaki. Like, the anime would give it away because of her blue hair, but I'm definitely certain that it's Komurasaki, but I have nothing to really prove this. But, Zoro is kind of mad at Gyukimaru because it's just like, dude, I was clearly distracted, but Gyukimaru doesn't care. It's just like, openings are where victory comes from. So, this unknown woman is carrying Tama, asking to be saved, but Tama's, expression makes it very clear. Kind of confuses Zoro as to the nature of the trouble they're in. But once he notices that the young woman is bleeding, he's just like, yeah, okay, so they're definitely not joking. And suddenly, an unknown assailant comes out of nowhere trying to strike at the woman, but Zoro immediately goes in for the parry, all while making a very strained face, almost as if he were still holding a sword between his teeth. But we come to find out that this person is Kamazo, the killer. Although, at first it comes off that he's just a random serial killer, but the woman states that, despite the fact that Kamazo is seen as just a random killer in the capital, it is in truth he is Orochi's assassin masquerading as a killer, which Kamizo immediately like, you just called the Shogun by his name. Who are you? And I gotta note the fact that Kamazo kind of looks very much like either Schwarzwald from The Big O, or even Shishio, I believe his name was, from Rurouni Kenshin, the Kyoto arc, which is just done to death at this point. You know, the original anime, the OVA, the movie, like, oh my god. But, you know, that it's obvious that he's a bit of an assassin who's been sent after this woman to, you know, fell Otoko. So it's just like, man, to even go as far as to send an assassin after Toko. And you know, I really do question what everyone's thought was by just leaving Toko to just be, you know, held up in the red light district. It's just like, you didn't think that someone would come after her at any point? Like, come on, guys. You know, after the way the Shogun was raging against her, it's like, Nami, Robin, you guys should have known something like this was going to happen. I don't know why everyone just keeps leaving people. And it's just like, yeah, they'll be fine. It's like, no, they're going to be hunted and come after. Like, just how Leftover Town was assaulted by Jack the Drought and Kaido after everything that went down. It's just like, you besmirched the name of the Shogun by your actions. Why do you think everything will be okay after you left? Like, that's my one criticism of this story arc as a whole. It's just like, our main characters seem to think there will be no repercussions for their actions for the innocent people caught up in everything. But, you know, the woman asks Zoro to, you know, protect them from Kamazo, and, you know, ultimately Zoro agrees if they will give him food and sake. And they say, oh, you've got a deal. And Kamazo actually notices Zoro as Zorojiro, the criminal, and he questions why he would even try to protect, you know, this woman and child he does not know. But it's in Zoro's nature. You know, he doesn't approve of anyone preying upon the weak. And so they begin to clash. You know, Kamazo's just like, okay, I was told to kill anyone who gets in my way, so I guess you're next. And you're already a criminal, so nobody will care if I take you down. And as Zoro clashes with Kamazo, you still, of all things, have Gyukimaru trying to take shots at Zoro, because he waits as they're battling, goes in for a strike when Zoro has an opening to him, and Zoro's just like, what the hell? And Kamazo goes in with one of his sickles, embedding it into Zoro's shoulder. However, Kamazo notices that he's unable to get his sickle out, and it's just like, it's stuck. Weird. Okay, well, I have another sickle, and he jumps back to go on the offensive, only for Zoro to take the sickle embedded into his shoulder, rip it out, use it as a third sword, and takes out Kamazo with the Purgatory Onigiri, you know, felling him right there and then. So, in fact, Zoro actually managed to get his own opening because of this. So, you know, you have this awesome shot of Zoro wielding his two swords, and I'm pretty sure he imbued them with Haki too. I'm definitely certain he was, you know, wielding them imbued with Haki, because the blades look black, you know, especially on the sickle as well. So, you know, he delivers a burst of righteousness on Kamazo. So, you know, Kamazo was obviously just fodder, but a good enough challenge for Zoro to show his might. Whether or not Gyukimaru will see the capabilities of Zoro and actually, you know, relinquish the sword, or he will still stand in opposition to Zoro, is very much up in the air. But I believe that ultimately, just like the, you know, myth that he's based off of, he will be felled, you know, at this bridge, and he will ultimately join Zoro in the pursuit to, you know, ultimately take down Orochi and Kaido at the end of things. And I'm still of the belief that this is in fact Komurosaki as well, because, you know, it's made very clear with the way that she speaks of Orochi and the fact that Kamazo brought it up as well. It just feels like it's too much of a... It was pointed out too much to not be relevant. But there's also the fact that, you know, Luffy is trying to practice what Rayleigh showed, where he sent out the shockwave, because, you know, that was always the thing about what Rayleigh showed as his haki. It's just like, you know, with that strike, it's just like, was it air pressure that he let off, or was it something more? You know, something you just couldn't see because of the fact that Luffy wasn't trained in the ways of haki. Because as soon as Luffy understood haki, we could see the black coating of armament haki. But it's just like, oh, if you're not trained in haki, you wouldn't notice when someone used haki or imbued it in their attack. So I feel like that's something worth noting as well. But, you know, tell me your thoughts in the comment section below on anything that I discussed here, or any of my theories on anything. And if you liked this video, feel free to leave me a like. And if you didn't, you know, feel free to leave me a dislike and tell me what I might have done wrong or what I might have missed in the comment section below. But until then, how about subscribing? Because there will definitely be more sword swinging reviews of One Piece. But until then, keep your guard up.